Hey guys, welcome back to the Cellar. So I was recently watching Scream 2, as I do often. And you know that scene with Randy and they're in the class and they're talking about sequels and how they're inferior to the original just by the name alone. But then they started naming movies like Aliens, The Godfather 2, that were just all better than its original. Now, when I made my top 100 movies, a lot of my top 10 were sequels. So watching Scream 2 and like thinking about my top 100 list, I'm like, wow, okay, so I'm a lover of sequels apparently. I didn't even realize it. So today we're going to be listing some of my all-time favorite sequels. Now, the list is pretty long. There was a lot of them, so I'm going to split it up. Today is part 1. We're going to be discussing 5 of them. I'm pretty excited about this list. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not, and I'll be right back. So number 5 on my list is 28 Weeks Later. Now this movie came out in 2007. It's starring Rose Byrne, Jeremy Renner. He's from Hawkeye. And it's funny because Rose Byrne is actually in some of the X-Men movies, so they're both in the Marvel Universe. Now, I like 28 Days Later. I like it. I don't love it. I can't say I love it. But 28 Weeks Later, that's a different ballgame. There's something about this story, like, okay, it gets right into it. And I love that it's not like years later. It's not the next day. You know, give it some time. Everybody's trying to rebuild, but can you really rebuild after this? So they show you a little bit of, you know, what happened when like this, like shit was hitting the fan originally. And then you see like this husband and wife, they're in a house with several other people, families, and they're terrified. They're like, what do we do? You know, and clearly they have kids. They mentioned their 2 children, and I guess they left London to go to, I'm pretty sure it's London, to go on a school trip. Thank God they didn't get hit by this zombie virus attack. And then you hear, I think, like a knock at the door. It's like a little kid or something, and they let the kid in. And it's, I can't remember exactly, but somehow the zombies get in. Now, this is not regular zombies. This is not Night of the Living Dead zombies that are slow meat. Oh, I have a zombie shirt on now. I didn't even realize. They're not slow zombies, you know. These are like they have rabies. They are running after you. They are no freaking joke. They got into that house and they start infecting people. And it's not even like they want to eat you. They want to infect you. This virus wants to get spread. It doesn't want to just like kill you and then you devour and then you live your life. No, it wants to spread. So it literally, these zombies are spreading this disease from like one person to the next. They all start like attacking each other, brutalizing each other, because apparently that's what this disease does too. It's very close to rabies in my opinion. I'm sure it's been compared to that tons of times. But the way this movie starts off, where the husband literally just leaves his wife to get like killed by this zombie creature, and you just see him running away, like, it was an intense start. It is a start that kind of makes you mad, makes you sad at the same time, because all these people, there's like children there, there's older people there, they're all getting, none of them are going to make it. And if you get attacked by the zombie, of course they're just spreading their disease, but they're like poking out your eyes, like they're ripping you apart. They like want to mutilate you at the same time. So then you see like a little bit, some weeks after, the father, he's living now where they're building, London back up. His kids are coming and they're like, what happened to mommy? And then of course he doesn't say like, guys, I left your mom and that's why she's dead, but is she dead? Maybe, maybe not. But this movie was just, in my opinion, superior to its original. Now, the original is a good movie. I am not saying it's not a good movie. I did like it, but it's really slow at times. A lot of times with these movies, and it's kind of dark. It's hard to see, and there's like some weird stuff that goes on with like people in a compound, and it gave me like weird vibes. I didn't really like it. This one was just more, to me, like it was more fast-paced, it was more brutal, shocking, and that's what I want in these types of movies. And that is why this movie is one of my favorite sequels, and I think it's a sequel that I like better than in the original. So if you haven't seen 28 Weeks Later, I definitely recommend it. They are actually in talks to making a 28 Months Later, which I'm really excited about. Like the way they ended it, I wanted more. Number 4 on my list is Aliens. Aliens was directed by James Cameron. I love James Cameron. It's starring Sigourney Weaver, Bill Paxton. This cast is stacked. I love the original Alien movie. Like, I love the Xenomorph. But the Aliens, you know, it takes place 57 years later and it's intense. And to see Sigourney Weaver as just like the incredible powerhouse that she is, like kicking butt, using these machines that these men didn't expect her to, is just, to me, like, you know, the highlight of the movie. I love it. It gets more down and dirty into it. You're seeing the creatures a little bit more. You're seeing more deaths. You're seeing more blood and gore. I love it. Like, the first film was amazing, obviously. You know, you're kind of figuring out what they are. You're discovering a little bit more about them. But bam, Aliens is just, it's no joke. And that is why it is better to me than its original. I love it. You know, I love these fast-paced movies. I love it with a story. I love that, you know, they have like these soldiers here and they're different personalities, and it's just so much fun. It's so much fun to see these creatures and to see these, you know, soldiers and Sigourney Weaver fight them. And then you see another, you know, another AI there, Lance Henriksen. You know, you don't know, is he a good one? Is he a bad one? Because in the first movie, the AI was bad, you know, portrayed everybody. But no, Lance Henriksen is a different model, so he can't hurt the human beings. But yeah, it is such a great movie. A great movie overall. I literally have no complaints about it at all. So if you haven't seen any movie from the Alien franchise, definitely go see it. They're so great, all of them. So clearly I'm a fan of James Cameron, because my next movie on my list, number 3, is T2. Yes. T2 was released in 1991. It's starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, which you guys know I'm such a fan of Arnold, Edward Furlong. It is just one of those movies that, like, okay, Terminator was like nothing else before. Okay, so I'm not knocking Terminator at all. I love Terminator. It's one of my favorite movies. But T2 is just, it's a little better in my opinion. It's a little better. I said it. It is just so great. Like, how can you not love the T-1000? How can you not? It is just it's a beast. It's a monster. It's liquid metal. Like, how can you defeat this? Of course Arnold can, because Arnold is the man. But yeah, it is a non-stop ride. It's the beginning where you see Arnold and then you see Robert Patrick and you don't know who the bad guy is. Is Robert Patrick like Kyle Reese? Is he the cop coming to, you know, save Sarah Connor and John? And you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger is back to kill them? What's going on? So that scene where they're coming down the hallway and you see Edward Furlong and you're like, okay, what is happening? And, you know, Arnold says, get down. You're like, oh, okay. That was a nice little twist. I did not expect that, because you expect Robert Patrick. He's just like a cop. You know, you kind of feel safe, right? Nope. He's the bad guy this round. So I was really pleased with that, because I love Arnold, as I said a million times. I said in this video already. But so having Arnold as the protector, the good guy, the hero, makes me happy. You know, I don't want Arnold to be the bad guy. I want to root for him. I want him to be on my team. I don't want to go against him and be like, ugh, I don't like you. You know, you're trying to kill like the leader of the resistance. So that to me is like another reason why it's just better than the first one. You know, he's on our team. He's trying to save humanity, which I love. But there's another scene where I mentioned earlier in the hospital with Sarah Connor, and she sees Arnold for the first time and she freaks out. That was pretty amazing, because she's thinking he's back to kill me, not realizing he's here to protect me, and homie in the uniform that just went through the bars is coming here to kill me. Like, that was super exciting. So did you know Robert Patrick was in such a strict running regimen? Like, he had to practice every day running without breathing out of his nose, just so he could seem more cyborg-like. And at the end of it, he was able to catch up to Edward Furlong on his dirt bike. That's pretty impressive, and that's dedication. Did you know this is the only Terminator film to be nominated and win an Oscar? It won 4 out of the 6. So apparently I wasn't the only one who thought that this was a better movie than the first. So if you haven't seen the Terminator movies, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. I'm pretty sure you've seen them. You've seen them, right? Okay. Just rewatch G2. Just a little reminder on how great this movie is. The number 2 on my list for today is Jeepers Creepers 2, the sequel, which was released 2003. It's starring Justin Long. First film, good. I liked the first film. I saw it in theaters. I loved it. The second was just the next level for me. It was more action. It was more fun. The creeper was going after more people, which was exciting. You know, in the first one, he's just going against like brother and sister, kind of tormenting them. You kind of get like a little glimpse into him and what he's doing. And then in the second one, you really see him. Like, you see him like eating a head, ingesting these kids to try to like rebuild himself. You see him fly away a few times, which is cool. Like, you really get up close and personal. Of course it gets a little cheesy at times and weird. I don't know really what was up with like those Justin Long scenes where he's a ghost and he's kind of warning the cheerleader who is a psychic now, apparently. Yeah, that's a little cheese fest. Okay, I can admit that. But besides that cheesiness, which sometimes I like cheese on my stuff, but it's just such a good movie. And it's so much fun. It is so much fun. It's dark. It's kind of comical at times. There's definitely some like racism thrown in there. There's like some homophobia, which you don't like, but you tolerate in these movies. But hopefully people can learn from watching something like this, like maybe watching somebody else's behavior and like, okay, he looks like a d-bag, I don't want to be a d-bag, so maybe I'm not going to be one. But other than that, it's definitely gory. It is just a great time overall. It's a lot more action than the first one. The first one I was kind of bored at times. You're just kind of building up a story and character development, and and then like the characters just die and leave. This one is just like, just kill them. I don't care. I don't care what's going on with them. Just kill them all. I want to see it. Then it's fun because you kind of see the creeper like go into his hibernation, and then you see him come back, or like not coming back, but like he's about to come back, and you see him like a bat in his like little cocoon, like just hanging there. It's pretty cool. It's pretty creepy. So originally, the second movie was supposed to be Trish and Giselle. She was like the older lady, the psychic from the first movie. It was supposed to be both of them like after the creeper. I almost called him the Jeeper. Wow. After the creeper to, I guess, get revenge. And then they were going to have like the bus scene kind of thrown into it. And then they were like, wait a second, this bus scene is pretty amazing. I want to stick with that. And they kind of like scrapped the whole idea. And then Trish, they offered her a role back to, reprise her role in this one. And she turned it down. She's like, I guess if I can't be the star, I really don't want to be in it. Maybe. But I do like the bus story. I'm happy they went that route. So if you haven't seen Jeepers Creepers 2, definitely check it out. You can skip number 3. But they are going to have a new Jeepers Creepers. It's going to be released soon. I'll put up the date somewhere. So yeah, watch number 2, watch number 1, get ready for the new one coming out. Number 1 on my list for today is Ghostbusters 2. Ghostbusters 2 was released in 1989. It was directed by Ivan Reitman. It is starring everybody. Ernie Hudson, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd. The cast is stacked. Like, it's just a work of art, this movie. I know a lot of people prefer the original, and the original is one of my loves. I'm a Ghostbusters fan through and through. But there's something about the sequel that I love. It's just everything. I love the story. I love the villain. I love the characters, how they like grew to be, like different. They're completely different in my opinion than the first movie. Overall, I love it. I love to see how, they saved everybody in the first one and then everybody like just turned their back on them, So it's funny because the tagline in the first movie is, "We are ready to believe you." And the tagline for this movie is, "Be ready to believe us." I thought that was pretty interesting. There's a lot of other taglines, but I just thought that was cool. The first one, it's like, okay, you have a ghost. We're going to believe you and we are going to get rid of it. And then the second one, where everybody's doubting what they really did, they kind of think they're frauds. They think they're, crooks and just like con artists. They're like, be ready to believe us because this is real. We're not playing around. And I know, I love like Rick Moranis. He has more of a part in this. And Janine, I love Janine. You know, who doesn't love Janine? You get like a good glimpse of Slimer in this. It's just like, it's just fun. And did you know, after the release of this film, Louis Tully was added to the real Ghostbusters cartoon. I thought that was pretty cool. I did not know that. So you know, in the scene in the beginning of the movie, you were there at the birthday party at Ernie Hunter, Dan Aykroyd, and you know, they're kind of being humiliated with the kids, and like, you know, one little crappy kid was like, oh, you know, my father said you guys are crooks, or you know, something along that nature. Remember that little kid? So that's actually Ivan Reitman's son, Jason Reitman. Yes, he is responsible for great movies like Juno, Ghostbusters Afterlife. I had to think about it for a second. But yeah, he is an amazing director. And the fact that he was in this film, and I had no idea, like I found out recently, I thought that was extremely cool. I always hated that kid. I always hated him. I'm sure you guys did too. So there's a scene in this movie with the Titanic. You guys remember that scene where the police officer gets a report that the Titanic is coming into Pier 34? Well, that is the original destination of the Titanic. I thought that was really eerie and creepy, but extremely interesting. I love that they threw that in there. I love it. I love it. So overall, yeah, to me, this movie is better than the original. I do love the original, but there's something about Vigo I just love. He's creepy, he's dark, he's ominous. It's just the story with the goo and baby Oscar. He's super cute. How can you not go wrong with that, right? There's so many cute things that they threw in it, and the soundtrack is amazing. So you can't go wrong with that. So yeah, Ghostbusters 2 will always be one of my favorite sequels. Comment down below, let me know what your favorite sequel is. As always, thank you so much for watching. This is only part 1. Part 2 will be coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not, have your notifications on, and I'll be right back.